Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And yep, so more and more updates are coming in. So I think it's about time that I gave my full attention to the ongoing issue regarding the murder of justice in Pakistan, which obviously resulted in once again an illegal arrest of Imran Khan. And as more stuff has been going on, so I thought maybe it's about time I put them all together. First of all, as in my previous episode, which I just like literally uploaded a few hours ago, not even a few hours, I think it's less than a couple of hours. But in anyway, the point is that in that episode, I mentioned as a side note that Imran Khan, he's that within 24 hours or less than 24 hours of his arrest, he actually got a great political victory because there were elections in two subdivisions of KPK, and in both of those elections, PTI won by like a mile. Okay, so it was really, really a huge victory, and the biggest victory in history of any party. It was so overwhelming. Now, as we know, he is in Atak jail, and now here's the difference between putting Imran Khan or PTI members in jail versus putting Maryam Nawaz, who did not even spend one night really, and it wasn't even jail, putting her or her family members in jail. Now, when you have Zardari and Sharif family and stuff going to jail, then basically they're not actually going to jail. They're going to this VIP cell where they get every single thing they need. It's like basically leaving your home in order to compromise by living in a two-star hotel. Okay, not even a one star. Let's make it a two-star hotel. So breakfasts are coming from home. Their servants are attending to them. They're ironing their clothes. They're getting fresh clothes. They have a separate place to ease themselves. Basically, they have a separate toilet. They have their privacy. They have meetings and conferences in the IG's office. Anybody and everybody's allowed to visit them, whoever they say can visit them. So it's like protocol, VIP protocol. So they're really never in jail, even when they're in jail. Now, when it comes to Imran Khan or PTI members, as we know, they have literally been in jail. So I don't think anybody from the People's Party or the Muslim League or even JUI, I don't think anybody can even dare compare their jail experience with the experience of PTI members, because PTI members were tortured, they were assaulted, they were sexually assaulted, as we know. Then their children were kidnapped, their wives were kidnapped, their husbands were kidnapped, their parents were kidnapped. I mean, there was so much going on. I mean, and it's obviously still going on. And then now that they have the way they arrested Imran Khan again, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Have you ever seen Pakistani police, especially Punjab police, be so active that a decision comes out in Islamabad court and here in Lahore, where there's a whole 6 hour difference by road, you suddenly, within 10 minutes of that decision, you've got police at the door, breaking down the door, and that even the back door. I mean, if it's legal, come by the front door, ring the bell, show the warrant, and just, walk in and arrest him. No, the decision gets made in, gets announced, actually. The decision, as we all know, was dictated like eons ago, before the trial even started. And just within 10 minutes, literally after 10 minutes, the police breaks down the door of Imran Khan's house and then breaks down the locks even of his wife's bedroom. And why are you breaking the lock of somebody's bedroom? That's what I want to know, especially females, right? And then they're dragging, they're abusing Imran Khan, using abusive language and dragging him, even though he said that just give me 2 minutes to change my clothes and I'll be with you. So you've got that. and they beat up his staff and they stole their mobiles so that nobody can contact anybody. And so they've been doing that, and now they put them. Then they decide to drive him all the way to Islamabad, thinking that they'll give him mental torture. You're an idiot, by the way, because if Imran Khan is even the slightest bit like I am, then I think a 6 hour drive is the best thing that could have happened to him. Why? The amount of plans one can make on a 6 hour road journey, the amount of plans, counter plans, attacks, counter attacks, plan B, plan C, plan D, with exceptions, with rules, with this, with that. The 6 hours drive is ideal. I mean, you just leave me alone. As long as I'm not the one driving, somebody else is driving me, drive me all the way up to anywhere. And within that period of time, that would be the ideal time for me to set up all the plans necessary for like the next 100 years. So yeah, you wish. I mean, seriously, anybody who uses his brain, especially on overdrive, a 6 hour drive is not torture. Okay, if anything, it's pretty, mentally speaking, pretty resting, and very, very conducive. So and then they decide that, okay, let's produce some more torture. Let's try to break him down by putting him in a 5 by 8 cell, which has no light, and no separate lavatory or anything. So there's an open lavatory in the cell, and the cell is infested with bugs and with flies, and there's not even enough space for him to pray, but he's still praying. And there was a constable who gave him a sheet so that he could spread that sheet and pray, because the cell is not in a good condition. And then he was given the Quran by one of the other police officers so that he could read the Quran in peace at least. So imagine that even the members of the police are extremely uncomfortable with what is going on and what they're being forced to do by their superiors. And so because of that, he wasn't even allowed to meet with his lawyers. But then finally, I think it was the superintendent who was like, no way, he has to meet nobody can stop him from meeting his lawyer. So today his lawyer met him, and then the lawyer obviously gave a press conference in which he mentioned all these details, which is why we all know these details. Now, when it comes to protests, again, to those people who are saying, actually, the mainstream media has a total blackout when it comes to all these details. Plus, because of that, all these details are being shared with the public, by the lawyer, and then again by the journalists on social media. So when it comes to protests, again, I would tell you that there are protests going on. In fact, people flooded the Attak jail premises. They tried to break in, I think, I think they were basically just standing there, maybe trying to force the staff to let them in. I don't know the actual story, but the whole point is that people flooded towards the jail premises, and they were demanding that the police let Imran Khan out. On the other hand, as we know, overseas Pakistanis are extremely agitated, and there are protests all over the world. And we have the ever famous Shayan Ali, who is a student, and he in England, and he's a British citizen, a British Pakistani, and he has been very, very vocal in his protests of whatever is going on in Pakistan, and he's been very vocal against the illegal government and against their illegal practices. And the fact that Dilawar, the judge, the fact that he was immediately sent out of the country within hours, like literally over here he gave his decision or announced his decision, and over there within 2 hours he was at the airport and being shoved out to England, of all places. And just check England out. Now this is the thing, so everybody's talking about University of Hull and how Shayan Ali found Dilawar to be there. and how he raised, a ruckus about it, a ruckus in the sense that, not exactly a ruckus, as in he promised that he would follow this man, and he promised that he would, capture him in his video and try to ask him questions, or try to find out, how this man is even here and why he's here after committing murder of justice, as I quote. When Shayan Ali finally saw him, he was in the University of Hull, and so Shayan Ali followed him. But there was a professor who was basically a Pakistani. Obviously, no British professor would dare do what the Pakistani did. And in fact, I'm wondering that. So this is where I'm going to deviate from other journalists. I'm wondering, how the hell is it that these Pakistanis are getting more and more, brave? That they're thinking that, and I'm by these Pakistanis, I'm talking about these political people who belong to Nawaz Sharif's group. How is it that they're so brazen, that they are actually acting as thugs and goons in England? Has England suddenly transformed into Pakistan for by any chance? I mean, the last time I looked, or I checked, England was pretty strict on its rules, and people had to basically mind their manners. So, but since I've come back to Pakistan these past few years, I've noticed that there are a lot of incidents. I would call them incidents. There are a lot of incidents of violence, of abuse, of harassment, of even assault by the members of Nawaz Sharif's political party in London, in England. And I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how brazen they are, that the police didn't come in 2 seconds. When I was there, the police would come in 2 minutes, even if it was reported that somebody was pulling somebody's hair. Seriously, I've been there, when one of my friends was just pulling my hair for fun, because my hair is extremely long, like Rapunzel type long. In 2 minutes, the police came, and they're like, okay, do you want to report your friend? I mean, what's going on? Because a few people said that, they were going around pulling your hair, and that you seemed very uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I really was pretty peed off, but they didn't mean any harm. It's just that my hair is so long. And then, the the constable was like, oh shit, when she saw my hair. So I mean, that's how the police used to be. So I don't know what just changed, what transformed, and how England has suddenly become a Pakistan number two. That so much has happened, and so much is going on, and the police has never showed up. But people have actually had to go and maybe make a report or something, like how in Shayan Ali's case, in the University of Hull, no less. He was basically assaulted. Yes, legally we will call this an assault, because the professor that pushed Dilawar shitface inside, to hide him from Shayan Ali and the other protesters that were with Shayan Ali. Mind you, Shayan Ali was not the only person there. There was a large amount of Pakistani protesters there as soon as they found out that Dilawar shitface was there. And so I think the name of that professor is Nazi or something. I can't be bothered to even know his name, because he's not worth my time. So that professor, he hid Dilawar, and then he went right up to Shayan Ali's face, verbally assaulted him, and then grabbed hold of his phone or his camera, whatever it was that he was recording with, and he literally threw it onto the ground. And everybody who was watching the video could literally see it, because it was not edited, so you could see that the recording instrument is being snatched and dropped to the ground. Now, how can you be so brazen enough, as a professor no less, to do such a thing? Are you even a legitimate professor? Number one. Number two, has England's educational standard dropped so low that they are taking any Tom, Dick, and Harry without any verification to make them professors? And that, even worse, that they actually invited and accepted and allowed a biased judge nonetheless. A biased judge. Do you know what a biased judge is? I mean, a biased judge is a judge who is never accepted in any of the legal circles, especially when he is blatantly abusing his authority. Because a biased judge is a judge who uses his personal grudge or his political affiliation or whatever it is, his relationship with the with either the plaintiff or the defendant, um, and he uses that to abuse his authority so that he can basically run the whole trial inappropriately. And so, whatever outcome of that trial is, it is automatically biased, which is why a judge, for the sake of his own career and for the sake of his own integrity, he would always recuse himself whenever his relationship with any of the concerned citizens is exposed. Now, in this case, it was literally on social media. Like, he posted offensive posts against Imran Khan, and he was very openly, biased against Imran Khan on social media, and he very openly showed his affiliation and his personal relationship with Nawaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif's party members. So again, pray tell. First of all, I would repeat my question that I did last time, and that is, how the heck did the other judges, or the judicial committee, or the bar association, how did any of them allow him to continue this trial in the first place when they all knew he was biased and when he was actually being questioned for his bias? Second, how is it that England, University of Hull no less, has no clue about this judge who is so famous on social media because of the scandal that he caused by being openly biased? And then an even bigger scandal that he causes when he very illegally conducts the trial. The whole process of the trial was illegal right down to the sentencing. And that is why the whole Bar Association unanimously agreed that the whole trial was bogus and the whole decision was bogus. And so the whole Bar Association of Pakistan is unanimous in this decision, in their agreement that this whole trial needs to be struck off, that the whole decision needs to be struck off, right? So England, and then University of Hull, and then a law department, no less. You're inviting a biased judge who is running away from a scandal not 2 hours after he just made a biased and an illegal decision, after conducting a biased and an illegal trial. So he's literally, he's literally entrenched in this searing scandal, and the University of Hull does not know about it. Seriously? Then what are you there for? What are you teaching? How are you going to teach your students about law and about human rights and human rights violations when you do not even know what's going on in the world and who is actually, crossing their limitations and who is violating human rights? This very judge who you called to speak about human rights violations just violated somebody's human right. I mean, seriously? You're actually telling me that you are having a seminar on human rights violations and you don't even know that the person who you have invited to speak about it is a human rights violator? Like, is that even possible? And then one of your professors, like, where did he come from? Who is he? What is his background? Did you even? I thought you people were so picky, so biased, and so racist and so discriminatory when it comes to hiring Pakistanis or Muslims especially, and yet you have no clue as to what category your professor belongs to, that he's inviting a human rights violator, he's inviting a political affiliation, a judge with a political affiliation who just made a biased decision, who just gave a biased sentencing, violating a human right throughout his trial process. And you have no clue. Seriously. You want me to believe that? You want me to believe that about you and about your law department and about your, I mean, you are so ignorant. I mean, that just shows how low the standard of English education has become, that they do not even know about whatever is going on pertaining to their own subject which they profess to teach. And how can your students excel as lawyers, and how can they excel as human rights protectors, sorry, if they have no clue as to who is violating what human right where? I mean, you should be updating your students on the current affairs of what's going on. Like, or are you just teaching them historical facts about Nazis and the fantastical stories of, the incarceration of Jews in Germany? Is that what you're basing your whole human rights violations on? So they have no clue as to what's going on in Palestine, or they have no clue what's going on in Pakistan, and they have no clue who's doing what? Seriously? I mean, what the frack? I mean, is this what England amounts to now? Is this what the English education amounts to? That you don't even know who you're inviting? I seriously doubt that. And again, so you need to decide on what narrative you're going to produce now. Either you are with the corrupt, illegal government and you just showed your stance as a British representative. I'm talking to the University of Hull. So either you're representing England's stance, which we already know, but I mean, England has really tried its best to keep its stance secret because it doesn't like to come out in the open. It doesn't like to come out of the closet, if you please, and announce to the world that it is still behind all the stuff that's going on in previous Commonwealth countries. And so the fact that the British establishment is behind whatever is going on in Pakistan, the British establishment didn't want people to know that. And so you're basically kind of exposing that fact as a representative of Britain. You, the university, are representing your country when you're inviting a biased judge, a politically biased judge, who just gave a biased sentencing after having a biased trial. And you're giving him protocol and you're inviting him to talk about human rights violations after he just violated Imran Khan's human rights. Thank you very much. So either it's that or you're ignorant. So tell me, which narrative do you choose? Are you openly stating that you're with the illegal government of Pakistan, or are you openly stating that you're so ignorant that you don't even know who is committing human rights violations in today's world, even though you profess to teach that to your students, and you're having a seminar on it, for crying out loud? So that is my question here in this episode. And let's see what people come up with, what answers people come up with, or what answers the University of Hull comes up with. For now, Cheyenne has basically gone to the police station where he filed a report against the professor as well as Dilawar, because obviously Dilawar is an accomplice in the whole matter of the abuse and assault. So, way to go. So, day one, I mean, he's just running away from one scandal just to drop neatly into another. Kudos, Dilawar shitface. Kudos, idiot moron. And this is me signing out for the Hafiz.